Hi everybody. I know it's been a while since I did a poem video, which the last one I did was Carnell Holley's vlog. I thought I was going to have some footage from the Love Rodic, which was my first performance at I wouldn't say an open mic night because I was the featured artist, for the Miss Sasha did it. It was her production, and it was actually hosted by myself and KB from my WSC TV. That's Atlanta. So I thought it was long overdue. I needed to do another one. Just couldn't decide which one I was going to do. So I decided to do Eyes of Fire. And like I did at the performance, a little backstory behind it was, at the time I was going for an interview for a particular gym to, get a position or whatnot. And when I went in, I wasn't expecting to be greeted by such a lovely receptionist. At least I thought, initially I thought she was a receptionist, but come to find out she was the weekend operations manager. And I am somewhat surprised that I managed to say something rather than just like, yeah, because she was just that beautiful. And she told me to go into the waiting area, and she was going to get the GM and whatnot. But I did get the job, and it was one day that I had some downtime, and I went up to the front. And the way that the building is constructed, it's all glass in the front. So when the sun was shining through, I guess my spidey sense went off, and I looked in her direction, and she was staring at me. And the sun was shining in her eyes, and which magnified her gaze at me, and I was just like a little stunned, petrified, in a sense, like from Final Fantasy VII. But I went to my desk and just pulled out a sheet of paper and wrote down Eyes of Fire, and that was the first time I ever wrote a title for a poem before I even wrote the poem. So this is Eyes of Fire. Eyes of Fire. I follow in the footsteps of a holy knight on a crusade to lend my sword to a queen who claims to not require saving. With an unwarranted summons, I'm still granted access by the gatekeepers to enter her divine royal court. In suspended animation, I stand before this demigoddess with the eyes of a phoenix. She stares upon me with such a radiant gaze. It's as if she can see all the sins I've committed. Immediate thoughts to eclipse her eyes does linger in my centered mind, and yet I can't help but to gravitate towards them as they circle me. But I stare back with a pure heart, not showing any degree of fear, in hopes to convert her as temperatures rise. Not even the calming waters that bleed from my very flesh could ever quench the raging fire that resides within. Stoked in this moment, seconds that would encompass minutes turn into hours by the hour. Hear me now, in this righteous plea of mine, that there's no reason to doubt the man that remains steadfast before you, preaching what is right so seductively, you testify it was wrong. For my words are not just ceremonious, they're precisely chosen. using his tongue to not only foretell his story, but our story as well. My queen, our story has already begun, starting with my first verse.